Assalamu alaikum. I am Luqman El-Kasabany and this is Shaykhi Academy. In today's episode, inshallah, we will discuss one of the final forms of the letter ta, which is at-ta al-marbuta. We will discuss at-ta al-marbuta inshallah in this episode in detail, so stay tuned.
Shaykhi Academy.
This is just to remind you that we are explaining using Al-Minhaj book, the official book of Shaykhi Academy. So when we spoke about the letter ta in the last episode, we said, particularly the final form, we said we have these two shapes, okay, beside this one. And these two shapes is our main focus today because these two shapes are called at-ta al-marbuta. Okay, at-ta al-marbuta. So sometimes we use the first shape and sometimes we use the second shape. So let's discover in this episode why or when we use the first shape and when we use the second shape in detail. So read this. The final form of a ta can also comes as ta marbuta. Okay, so this sentence means that the original shape of the final form of a ta is this one. This is the original final form, but sometimes comes as ta marbuta. Okay, and this word, the word marbuta, it means something closed or tied. Okay, marbuta, this word marbuta in Arabic means something closed or something tied. Okay, and this is because of its shape. It looks like this or like this. Okay, so as you see, it's closed or tied. So this is, we can call it ta marbuta, and if we want to translate it, we will say closed or tied ta. Okay, Arabic words. This is the first point. The second point, Arabic words ending in ta marbuta are usually of a feminine gender. Okay, so it refers to a feminine gender. Okay, so let's discover now the two shapes of the ta al-marbuta. So we have two different ways, as we said, isolated letter, okay, and this is the shape of the isolated letter. Isolated letter, it means is not joined to the letter before. If the letter before is not linked to the following one. So if at-ta al-marbuta has a letter before it, but this letter is not linked to the one after, okay, so you will see this isolated form of at-ta al-marbuta. Okay, so let's take an example. You see, سيارة مستوردة. Okay, so الراء, as we took before, is joined to the letter before, not the letter after. And we said we have 7 letters that are joined just to the letter before them, not the letter after them. الراء here is one of these letters. And also ad-dal here is one of these letters. So سيارة مستوردة, because الراء here and ad-dal here is not joined to the letter after, it's just the letter before. We use this form of at-ta al-marbuta, which is the isolated form. So the question now, when we use the other shape, okay, the other shape is the joined letter, is not isolated, it's joined or linked to the letter before. I think the answer is so easy. If the first one, if the letter before is linked to the following one, so it makes sense for this one to be if the letter before is linked to the following one. And these are the remaining letters after these 7 letters we discussed before in the beginning of connected letters. So this is how it looks, the joined letter of at-ta al-marbuta. Okay, and let's also take an example. This جامعة عريقة. It means like a great university or something like that. So جامعة العين. Here we have العين. العين is joined to the letter before and the letter after. But what we meant here is joined to the letter after it. For this reason we used the joined form of التاء المربوطة. The same goes for القاف. Because it's joined to the letter after it, we use this form of joined letter of التاء المربوطة. So to summarize all these points or this lesson, we can say that التاء المربوطة is one of the final forms of the letter تاء, and the word marbuta, it means closed or tied, and it refers to usually to feminine gender, and it has two shapes, the isolated one and the joined one, depending on the letter before. If the letter before is linked to the next one, we use the joined letter. If the letter before is not linked to the next one, we will use the isolated letter. So now we came to the end of this episode. If you have any question or if there is still any point not clear, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, and see you inshallah in the next episode. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Now we came to the end of this episode. So if you want to follow up the next episodes, consider subscribing. Also, if you want a qualified Quran tutor, whether for yourself or your kids, we are providing online Quran classes. Don't forget to check out our app. See you inshallah in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.
Shaykhi Academy. Learn and enjoy.